this morning's yoga flow. We are going to start back on our backs. As those joining me live, I've already talked about. Today's class, we may throw in a strap. If you have that handy, great. If not, it's not a huge deal. I'll show you how to do varying modifications using your hands or grabbing on in different ways if you don't have a strap handy. But go ahead and just start to relax. Start to find a comfortable space, laying flat to the earth, maybe long legs, or if that doesn't quite sit well with your back, you can always start with bent knees. All right, today's opening reading is entitled, "The more difficult a thing is, the more it requires softness." When we encounter a difficult person or situation or yoga pose, we often respond with hardness. In your practice today, choose a difficult pose and approach it with both mental and physical softness. Become like the water that flows around a rough boulder, gently washing against its edges. Become like the water that flows around a rough boulder, gently washing against its edges. So with your eyes closed, perhaps you can visualize that boulder in the middle of a stream, watching as the water rushes around the edges of the boulder. Knowing that each time the water moves past that boulder, not only is the water shifting, but we are slowly softening the edges of that boulder as well. So thinking about times in our lives where we've been kind of in a situation with a difficult person or difficult personality. Maybe it's a physical task that we have to take on that's been a little bit difficult, or as the reading said, a yoga pose. So today we're just going to try to approach anything that maybe seems a little difficult with the idea of softness. How can we soften what's difficult? So as that breath comes slowly in and out of your nose, you might feel your belly starting to expand, growing up towards the ceiling. Exhale, breath, belly falling down, closer to the floor. And just letting that breath continue to move in and out of the body. We always use these first few moments of the practice just to check in. If it feels good to start adding some gentle movement, feel free to do so. You might be, letting your head sway side to side, or maybe bending knees. I'm going to start to bring my knees in a little closer towards my belly. If you're ready to join me there, feel free to bring the knees in to make yourself into a little ball. Hands might come onto the fronts of the shins or maybe even on the backs of the thighs. You can have some space between your knees or you can hug them in tight, either way. All right, right knee's gonna stay in towards your chest. Let this left leg go long. Maybe it's long and straight, or maybe you keep a soft bend in that knee, whichever works best for you today. Pointing and flexing the toes, using these first couple moments just to warm up our bodies. You might even decide to switch the grip to the back of the thigh and kind of pull that right knee over a little further towards the outer edge of the mat. You might choose to flex the feet. That's going to give you a different sensation down through the inner thigh and hip flexor of that left leg. All right, perfect. Softening that right knee. Just give it just a little hug over towards the left side of your mat. Now we're not going to go all the way over to a full spinal twist, but just waking up that outer edge of hip. Perfect. Bring that back towards center and then switch up. Left knee into chest. Right leg is long. Point and flex toes. Roll around ankle. Maybe even switching the grip to the back of the thigh. Like I said before, bringing that knee slightly over towards the left edge. Maybe flexing both feet. Putting some power into that right leg. Perfect. Take your time. Start to bring that knee back towards center. All right, and then give it just a little hug. Take it slightly over. Remember, we're not going all the way over, but just giving a little opening to that outer hip. A little twist for the spine. All right, and then back to center. Both knees into chest. Both feet then lift high to the sky. Knees towards chest. Lift them up. So just kind of talking with those knees just for a moment. Letting the legs open. All right, beautiful. Next time knees or chest, keep them there. Crisscross at your ankles. Maybe reach through and see if you can grab down towards the ankles or at the shins. Let the knees kind of fall open wide and just rock back and forth as if you were in kind of a crisscross pose here. And you're giving yourself just a chance to let those knees walk side to side. All right, beautiful work. Let those knees come back towards center. And we'll rock and roll on our spine until you're up to a nice tall seat. I'm going to turn just so I can see you, but find crisscross that works. Fingertips moving out towards the sides, and then just giving a little lean here. So you're just waking up your side body, kind of talking with it as you sway from right to left. Your hands might even kind of sweep across the mat as you reach from side to side, or maybe you're even reaching off of the mat. That works too. Just give yourself that side body stretch. All right, beautiful. From there, we'll use the next natural inhale to lift hands up overhead. Exhale, let them float, find your heart. 2 more times just like that. All you're really doing is opening up shoulders, talking a little bit with the spine, but really connecting with your breath. 1 more time. All right, when you feel ready, we're going to take our right hand up nice and tall. Then bend that right hand as if you were, or bend your right elbow rather, as if you're going to pat yourself on the back. The left arm comes over and looks for that elbow. Sit nice and tall, and then just give yourself a little lean. This doesn't have to be anything real big, but just let those side body muscles kind of talk to you for a moment. 1 more breath. Now the hand that you have on your elbow, that one's going to stay there. You're going to just kind of come out of this space. Let the hand that was on your elbow just reach over and take this across the body. Now I want you to tip a little bit here, but maybe this goes all the way over so that hand maybe touches the ground or just gets kind of close. And then lean back up. We're going to teapot 2 more times. So it's like you're just doing a little tip to the side. Pour yourself a cup of tea. Beautiful. Back to center. And then just let this arm that's been across the body take a big wide open out to T. Beautiful. Hands to chest. And then we'll go the other way. Other arm is up. Bend as if you're going to pat yourself on the back. Opposite hand comes over and reaches for that elbow. And then we tip side to side just as you did before. Again, letting that side body have some space, getting a nice good stretch in the tricep. Of course, if this is too much, hand can just rest here on the head. You can have kind of a modified version. We don't always have to take the biggest shape we can find. All right, back to center. Keeping that hand on the elbow. Arm comes down and across the body. So now you're in that same shape again. And then maybe give this a tip. And then back up. And then a tip. And then back up. Last one. Beautiful. Back up tall and we're out to T again. Hands come into heart. All right, let's find tabletop. Take your time, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Knowing that if you want to reach for blocks, if you have those in your practice space, this is always a good time to kind of get them set up. Got all kinds of pretty stuff in my space and sometimes it gets in the way. So I'm going to move some of that around. Get your blocks set up. If you know you have sensitive knees and maybe you want to bring a blanket into the space, this is a good time for that. Or any wardrobe adjustments. It's a good time for that too. All right, forward and back here, shifting some weight into the wrists and then back into the hips. All we're doing is just warming up everything today. I got a really great wrist and forearm stretch coming up here in just a moment. So the next time your hips are back towards those heels, let's set them there just for a few breaths. Let the belly surrender itself down towards the mat. You might choose to even walk your hands to the left edge of the mat for a moment. Lean into that right hip. And then we can walk those hands back to center. Maybe we send them over to the other side of the mat. Perfect, friends. Bring those back into the center and back up nice and tall. From here, you're going to take your hands and we're going to flip so that our palms are facing up and our wrists are down on the mat. And then you're going to sit back towards those heels again. Stretch should go right here across the back of the wrist through your forearm. We do so much every day with our forearms. We often forget about the tension that we hold there. Reaching for things, lifting things, daily chores, daily activities, even sometimes just the tension of holding onto a cup of coffee can be put right there in those forearms. You probably are also feeling this in the upper back. I always get a nice good stretch. Press the trapezius and the upper edges of my shoulders here. Feels really nice. Inhale, breath brings us back up to table and we visit our cat-cow. Now you know what cat-cow is supposed to look like. Belly dropping on the inhale and back rounding on the exhale. Just take your time to move through that one. Two more at your own pace. All right, cat-cow is now going to move into a little bit more of a dynamic bird dog. So when you are ready, your inhale breath is going to lift your left hand up off the ground and your right foot. And then you're going to bring your left hand down and switch right arm, left leg. So your bird dog is shifting from side to side. And hopefully you have enough space out in front and in back for full extension of both those limbs. And we'll just go 2 more times each way. One more time each way. Perfect. Now whatever one you were ready for next, go ahead and lift and hold. This time instead of pointing through that back foot, let's see if we can flex that toe and initiate a nice triggering motion in that same glute. So whatever leg is long, that foot is flexed. We're talking with that glute. Bring the toe down to earth, hand down to the ground, push through that back heel, get a nice calf stretch. And then as you exhale, I want you to take this foot and bring it up towards your pinky side of that front hand. All right, lean into that front knee just for a moment. Give it a breath. For me, my left foot is forward. I'm going to keep my right hand down on the ground and open up wide with my left arm. You notice my back toes are on the ground. If you can meet me there, great. If not, if you need to curl those back toes under for a little more stability, that's fine. Hand comes down to earth. And then you're going to send this left leg back again. Sit into child's pose. Breathe. Back up to bird dog, opposite way. So whatever leg you had lifted long last time, we're going to do the opposite. See if you can make that leg come straight out of the hip. Flex the foot. Activate that glute just as you did before. Give it a little squeeze. Beautiful. Let those toes come down to ground. Push through the heel. Get yourself a nice calf stretch. And then remember your next step is going to be to take this long leg, step it all the way up and through towards the pinky side of that front hand. And then just lean into that shape. Left hand stays on the ground this time. Right hand opens for a big lift towards the sky. Perfect. Hand comes back to ground. This time, instead of stepping into child's pose, we'll just curl the feet under and you're ready for your first down dog. So go ahead and walk that out. Remembering downward dog, hands are about shoulder distance. We've got letter L's in the hands with the pointer finger and the thumb. Really taking a moment here to walk this out. All right, small steps with feet. Walk it on up. Find your half lift. Exhale and fold. Inhale, reach and lift the hands up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. Beautiful. So we're going to take just a couple rounds of half sun salutation here. Inhaling to reach the hands up. Exhale, hinge and fold. Inhale, come up halfway, long spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach. Cactus. Hands to heart, and then let's go again. Inhale it up. Take your time. Halfway up. Exhale, fold. All the way up. Cactus the arms. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale out to cactus. Hands come into heart. This time when you're ready, the inhale breath will bend our knees and make us sink down into an invisible chair. Our spine stays nice and long. Arms are full out and extended. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, down. Right knee steps back. Right foot steps back, rather. Right knee hits the ground. Inhale to reach both hands up. The knee that is forward, that hand will come down and reach straight out in front. You look like letter L with your arms. Stay in that shape. Take the hand that's been in the sky, bring it down even with your front arm, 2 arms fully extended. When you're ready, you're going to take this hand that's pointed straight forward and pull it slightly back towards the shoulder. You're giving yourself kind of an archer. Send it back out. 2 more times. Little pinch in the upper shoulders. A little bit of work for that shoulder. Beautiful. Hands come back up. Reach them high. Exhale, bring hands down to the floor. Curl the toes under on your back leg. Lift the back knee. Excuse me. I can feel my sneeze tickling in my nose. All right, take this front foot, step it all the way back to the back of the mat. Beautiful work. Downward facing dog. Down dog shifts from down dog to plank. And then back up. You got 2 more of those. Use your breath. Get control of these poses. Beautiful work. Once you hit that last down dog, go ahead and start moving the feet up towards your hands. Find the half lift when it feels ready. Exhale, fold. Back up tall, finding cactus. Hands come into the heart, and then we're back in that chair again. Chair pose. Give it a round of breath. Really squeeze those knees towards the middle. Fold. Halfway up. Back down. Step in that left foot back. Left knee hits the ground. Hands come up. Same knee that's forward. That arm drops. And you're in that L shape again. Keeping this bicep right by your ear. Beautiful. Bring the arm down, straight out in front. 2 arms. Parallel with one another. Open up. Close it back. 2 more. All right, beautiful. Hands go up. Back down, look for earth. Curl toes under. Strong, powerful back leg. Get that big, nice lunge. Front foot then steps back to the back of the mat. You're back to down dog. Now you can shift right here from down dog to plank and then back up. Or you can put a couple of those in there. Or you can vinyasa. Lower it down. Maybe an up dog or a cobra. And then knee to knee back in that downward dog shape. Giving you time for whatever choice you have chosen. And then we'll walk the feet back up to find your hands. Half lift. Back down, take your time. Back up to standing. Meet me at hands at heart. Get a full round of breath. All right, back to your chair. and not in the cozy, comfy recliner chair. Are active, engaged, strong. Exhale, fold. Half lift. Exhale, fold. All right, right foot steps back. We're gonna go ahead and spin that right foot till it's completely sideways. Bring yourself up for warrior two. Now, a little bit different than the way we did our archer before. You're gonna take the arm that's away from your bent knee, bring it up here by your ear again, and then just let this sweep down in front of your face. So you see my arms aren't turned and parallel because I want to keep my hips square. So one is longer than the other. Pull back that bow and arrow. So I have a little twist on my upper torso when I reach, but then I really get my hips square to the side again when I'm back open with that archer. All right, perfect. Hold that last pose. Let this arm swing out and open to just a wide T. And then we'll take it to triangle. Front knee straightens, reach up and over that edge, tipping into your version of triangle here. Using the floor, using a block, using your leg, being aware of your shoulders, keep those hips turned to the side. All right, top hand in the sky starts to spiral down, spin on these back toes. Go back to that nice big runner's lunge. And then you get to take a big step all the way to the back of the mat, either to plank with vinyasa or down dog. So maybe you meet me here and you play just a little bit, kind of going back and forth even on your knees. That's a nice modification. Maybe you go from here to a full plank, or maybe you took a vinyasa. All right, my friends. When you feel ready, your feet are moving to your hands. Take your time. Use your breath, always inhaling before you come up to standing posture. Hands coming into the heart. Back to that chair. Hold. And then float. Half lift. Back down. This time the left foot steps back. Spin it. Start figuring out your warrior two on this side. Getting yourself in the stance that makes sense. Watching your arms. They have a tendency to want to float. So see if you can keep them out to the sides. All right, and then I'm going to take my back arm, put it back up here by my ear again. And then this arm just turns just enough to reach across my body. So you see they're not the same. One is a lot longer. And then open again for that archer pose. So as if you were pulling back that bow and arrow to let it go. And just take a couple of those. Next time it's back, hold it there. Keep that elbow up. Watch your back elbow. It wants to drop down here. Let's see if we can keep it even. Strength, strong arms. You've got it. Let that arm open up to T. Start straightening this front leg. And then we're going to shift into your triangle on this side. So remembering with our triangle pose, we are obviously trying to reach as much as we can. Right hand down towards the ground, the leg, the shin, something in this vicinity, and then the other arm is up top. My hips are trying their best to stay open and square to the side, just like they do in warrior two. This is a great place for a block if you have one in your practice space. All right, soften out of that. Back up. And then this is where you get to pivot all the way to the floor. So if your toes will allow, spin on those toes. If not, just take your time, bring this back knee to the ground. Get comfortable, then maybe lift that knee up. Hold in that space. And then you have options just like you did before. Down dog to plank. Half dog, so maybe knees down on the ground to kind of a puppy pose. Or maybe you take a full vinyasa. deciding what feels good in your body this morning. Take your time. All right, last round of feet towards hands. Walk it up. Give me an inhale breath to lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, go all the way to standing. Nice big breaths here in the safety of your home. Arms come out to cactus. Bring the hands to the heart. And then I want you to just step the right foot back, point the toes behind you, and then swing it back forward. So this isn't a true warrior three. We're just testing a little bit of glute strength, a little bit of hamstring strength, and balance. So my spine just stays really long. I'm just trying to see what I can do with my glute, my hamstring, and my balance. One more round. It's almost like when we lay on our belly and we activate the lowest part of our spine in kind of some locust stretches. This is doing similar strengthening for your back. All right, friends, take your time, come back to standing, settle those shoulders. Just breathe. All right, separating the feet as wide as the mat or close to it. Take your arms up tall, make a big letter X, and then hinge at the hip creases, bend those knees, fold yourself into ragdoll pose. One arm coming to either elbow. And just kind of play here. Letting everything get really soft through the middle. All right, then hands drop down to earth. Heels turn slightly inward, and we're in a nice wide knee squat. Now for your squat today, if you want to add a twist, you can keep right hand down and begin to reach up with left. If you want to bring a block into the practice, you can put your rear right on that block. Give yourself something to sit on. You can bring a block into the front, put it in your hands. Play with your neck. Add the twist to the other side if you haven't already done so. Those twists are pretty big too though, so if they don't feel good in the spine, don't feel like you have to take that. You guys know the routine. If things don't feel good, we don't do them. Yoga's not about pain. Might be a little discomfort every once in a while, but we never want to feel pain. And just discomfort in the good way. In the good way that we know a stretch is happening, a change, new shapes, creating new space. All right, my friends, we're going to settle those hips down towards the earth. I'm walking my blocks with me just because I think they might be helpful. But just start to bring the legs out from underneath, or just let the hips settle down. And you don't have to be graceful, no one's watching. Just do it however you feel best. Right knee hugs into the chest, get a nice good hug here. Not a lot of twisting action, just giving it a hug. I'm going to bring my foot up off the ground and give my ankle and toes a little bit more attention. You can even bring this foot up to more of a 90, hug it in tight, give it a little bit of core work here too. All right, perfect, put that down. Let's switch sides. Give yourself that same hug. Point and flex toes, roll around ankle, maybe switch it to the back of the thigh, lifting through the heart center, pulling that chest slightly upward. Always fighting any urge to curve up in the cervical spine. We're going to try to keep our neck as long as possible. It's going to naturally do that with age, so let's go to as much space as we can when we're practicing yoga. All right, our feet start to plant down into the ground, knees up towards the body, hands on either sides of the hips, and we're just going to plant here. You have option to push hands strongly into the earth. You can lift hips and take yourself into something that resembles crab, or if that doesn't work for you, maybe you just play with boat. You got options. Give yourself about 3 more breaths. Either staff, that modified crab where your tush doesn't leave the earth and you're just kind of putting some weight into those hands and the bottoms of the feet, or you're playing with both. All right, settle, settle, settle. Let everything move back down. If you brought a strap into your practice, go ahead and reach for it. If you don't have one, no big deal. Start to head back to your back. Maybe the strap goes around your left foot. If you don't have a strap, all you gotta do is just make a nice comfy grip on the back of the thigh. So it's not required. Don't go walking all over the house looking for something right now. It's gonna be quick, so you don't need to go grab something. But if you do have a strap and you want to use it, go ahead and reach for it. Because like I said, it's going to be quick. I'm going to have a ton of time today for this. If you did happen to use a strap, go ahead and start to bend the knee. Bring that knee down towards the outer edges of the mat. Foot is flexed, strap is in that foot. If you're not using a strap, all you're doing is hugging around the back of that thigh, or maybe reaching peace sign fingers between your first and second toe, and you're giving yourself a little half happy baby. Of course, if you're looking for more, that opposite leg is long. Otherwise, just give it a gentle bend. All right, send that leg back up nice and tall. One more breath in that hamstring option. And then you can switch. You can switch legs in midair. Whoop. One foot slips into that strap, or you just make adjustments with your hands, and now you're grabbing the opposite leg. Now, always remember, anytime we're working with a strap, as much as we want it to feel tense and taut in the strap, we don't want that tension to move down the arm into the shoulders. So see if you can hold that in such a way that you feel the tension in the strap, but then it kind of disappears in your arm. Maybe your eyes are closed as your back starts to settle. You might choose to begin to bend this knee, flexed foot, hugging it down towards the outer edge of the mat. Remembering you could stay there, or you could take some peace sign fingers between first and second toe. Hug that down. Opposite leg might go long for a deeper version of this pose, or you might keep a bend in that knee. Send that foot back up towards the sky for another breath in that hamstring stretch. Also giving you some inversion today, flipping your feet up above the head. All right, my friends, letting that foot come down. You are finished with the strap for the day. So if you have that, you can kind of just ball it up and set it off to the side. Taking your time to walk your heels in towards your hips. Too many H's that time. Planting those knees shoulder distance apart, hands on either sides of the body, lift just to a nice gentle bridge. You've still got some engagement in your quads, a little stretch across the hip flexors. Back of the head is in the earth. One more breath. Next natural inhale lifts those heels up off the ground as we lower down one vertebra at a time. Soles of the feet are going to look for one another as we allow our knees to fall out and open. Now, if you had a set of blocks that you brought into the space with you, maybe as your knees open, you place these blocks on the outer edges of those knees just to give them a little catch. If you don't have blocks, that's okay. You can let those knees land wherever they want to. Right hand across the heart, left hand across the belly. Close the eyes, relax the shoulders, the chest, muscles on the face. And just breathe. Now you're welcome to stay here in this shape as long as you'd like. Maybe this becomes your Savasana today. Of course, however, if something else is speaking a little louder to you, maybe you'd like to roll to rest on your right or left side. You'd like a traditional Savasana with long extended legs or bent knees and something like constructive rest. Feel free to take whatever shape your body might be asking for. But wherever you land, let's just take a few more easy breaths there. providing this space with as much softness as you can physically find. Be observing of the body and deciding where it looks like it still might be holding on to something, a little tension. And see if you can send some breath and energy to that space just to tell it to soften. Be still. Be soft. Continuing to allow your breath to just be steady and simple. Easy on the inhale, easy on the exhale. Knowing that this place of stillness that you have found is right where you need to be. No rush to move into anything else, just appreciate this time set aside to just let everything sift and settle back into place. Slowly, as you feel ready, we'll start adding a little wiggling of the fingers, a wiggling of the toes, gentle swaying of the knees from side to side, or maybe even the tip of the nose kind of painting across the ceiling. You might find yourself rolling to rest on either your right or left side, using this space as a time. Slowly come back. Pressing into the earth only when you feel ready, we'll move back up to find our seated posture. Maybe when you find your seat, you reach for one of those blocks you have nearby just to sit the spine that's up a little taller, or maybe you choose some blanket. Let the head and neck just have a little bit of freedom of movement, sweeping one ear to one side and then the other. Bringing the hands into the heart, I'd like you to lace your fingers together and just press the palms straight forward. Give yourself just a little bit of rocking here from side to side, some final love to that side body. Lifting the hands up overhead, we're just gonna soften the elbows and bring the hands in a slight little basket behind the back of the head. On a day like today, where most of us are practicing from home, got the weather a little chilly and cold, it's nice to have that savasana, but then bring ourselves back up with just a little bit of movement back in before we go back into our day. So just let those hands kind of sweep around, a little twist here. And then bring the hands into the heart. Closing the eyes, revisiting what Our opening intention had us visualize seeing that boulder one more time with the water rushing around its edges. Knowing that if we were to choose to take on the shape of the water, we'd have to be fluid, flexible. Or if we found ourselves as the boulder in the situation, we would have to realize that in order for us to live in harmony and peace, we might have to soften a little bit as well. Thank you all so much for taking time for yourself, not only for your physical body, but for your mind and spirit, to move and breathe alongside not only me, but all the members of our civic community. Thank you again. Namaste. Thank you guys so much.